I'm sure you do, but I would not buy it. Searching for a home is tough. It's a daunting work and it's frustrating, especially in this market. Yes, it's tough, but there are certain types of homes that I would not buy, or I'll tell my clients, do not buy that house. Hi, I'm Mike Patel, and I've helped hundreds and hundreds of buyers find the perfect home that they were looking for. Even after looking at so many homes, they find that home that they really want. So today I'm going to share with you 5 types of homes that I would not buy and I would tell my clients not to buy because it will save them a lot of frustration, a lot of financial stress, and a lot of updates coming up down the road. By finding the right house, it will also save you costly mistakes over the years in the house that you stay. So the first type of house I would not buy or tell my clients not to buy is a house that is located in a flood zone. But before I do that, I want you to know that I have a sixth tip or a bonus tip. In fact, it is so important that you can fast forward this video to that and listen to that. So please stay for the sixth tip. So let's go back to the homes why one should not buy in a flood zone. So why not buy a house in a flood zone? Well, you may think, duh, I'm not going to buy a house in a flood zone anyways, but I'm specifically talking about homes that are in a flood zone, what we call the 100-year flood zone or the 500-year flood zones. I would not buy in those type of homes. So before I buy those homes, I would double check on those and make sure they're not in that flood zone, 100-year and 500-year flood zones. Obviously, the main reason we don't want to buy in a flood zone is what if there is a flood zone? Yes, they say it's a 100 to 500-year flood zone, but what if it comes next year or in the next 10 years and you own the house? So that's a big reasons. But one of the main reason is because it'll increase your flood insurance. And as you know, today one of the pandemics or one of the crises is insurance, and flood insurance is also going to go up just as fire insurances are going up. The average flood insurance in USA is about $800 to $900 per year. Where I am in California, the average flood insurance is about 814. That's of course an average, but in some areas that are in the flood zone, the insurance are as high as $5,000 per year. So that can really bite into your pockets. Keep in mind that when homeowners are selling their homes, they may have lived there for 30 years or 10 years. They don't know if the house is in a 100-year or a 500-year flood zone. So they won't know that. They won't tell you that. Maybe they won't even tell you if they knew it because they want to sell their homes. But today, that's why you have to review all the disclosures before you buy a house. And to that point, these days, a lot of disclosures are readily available. So let's say you did buy something in a flood zone, in a 100-year flood zone, and you did not know that. But when you sell it, they may find out that you are in a flood zone. So when you do sell it, they may have an issue selling it or getting insurance. That's why it's good to know, not only because you don't want to stay in a flood zone, but when you sell, you're not in a flood zone either. On that note, I want you to let you know that I am about 20 miles from Los Angeles. And just last month, we had those historic fire zones. In fact, those fires, some of them called it the 100-year fires. 12,000 structures were destroyed, and there was billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of destruction. So imagine when they bought the house, they knew that they were in a fire zone and they would have not bought it. And now the structures are lost. So always be careful when you buy a house in a flood zone or find out if it is in such an area or in this kind of zone. The second type of home I would not buy are homes that are over 100 years old. These are usually historic homes and they come with a lot of issues. They are charming, they're cute, and a lot of people like to stay in these kind of homes. But there's some issues with it. The house behind me just came up for sale. It's in Anaheim, California, and it's listed for $849,000. It's a 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, about 1,400 square feet, and it was built in 1928. This whole neighborhood here is homes that are older homes. Some are 60 years old, some are 70 years old, and some are even over 100 years old. As I mentioned earlier, they're very cute, very charming, but they come with issues. And some of the issues, or some of the main few issues, are plumbing, electrical, and other features. Let's talk about plumbing. Some of these homes that are 100 years old may have gone through some plumbing changes, but even if they were done 30, 40, 50 years ago, they may have lead pipes and other things in there, and they may be hard to reach. And a lot of these homes may have piping where you cannot find the similar kind of piping. So that may be an issue. When it comes to electrical hazards, older homes may not have been replaced with the electrical panel. There are current security codes, current fire codes, and current hazards. So you have to check before you buy a house or before I buy that house. I'm going to make sure I bring an electrical contractor, I bring a plumber, etc., to have them check through all those and make sure that when I buy the house or if I sell this house, me or my buyers don't end up changing all these things, whether it's going to be in the next year or a few years down the road. Some of the electrical hazards or older homes may have outdated knob and tube wiring or older insulation that degrades over time. When it comes to plumbing, many originally had lead pipes requiring expensive replacements. And these charming homes may also have asbestos issues. Asbestos may be present in insulation and floor tiles, requiring costly removal. And when it comes to asbestos, you cannot just go and hire somebody and remove them. They have to be done in a proper manner with hazards in place. Other features that these charming but older historic homes comes with could be that they come with steep staircases. They might have low ceilings, or they might have non-working fireplaces, and they might have laundry chutes or even dumb waiters these days, which could be a severe, which could pose safety risk, especially if you have younger children that are going to stay with you. I live in Anaheim Hills, which is part of Anaheim, and we are in the Anaheim area right now. And few blocks from here, there's an area that all the historic homes have what we call in the Mills Act. And a lot of these homes, in some of these homes, you cannot even paint a certain color or change the windows or change the flooring. They have to be restored in the historic format that falls into place. So there are some issues when it comes to remodeling. And once you move in and buy this 100-year home and you did not know that, oh my gosh, I have to have a certain knobs or certain paint or certain windows. And when you want to replace it, you may have to custom order those because a lot of these companies may not be around who make those kind of windows or knobs or flooring. So that's an additional cost, not to mention a headache to find somebody who's going to do the work for you. One of my biggest concern if I'm going to buy a house that's already 100 years old, then what if I live in that house for 20, 30 years and then I want to move? Guess what? That house is now 130 years old. Imagine the issues, the codes, the city requirements may be coming in at that time, like fire sprinklers or certain kind of roofs, etc. Then it may be a headache to sell at that time. So personally, I would stay away from the 100-year-old homes, but that's my personal taste. The other kind of house I would not buy or tell my clients not to buy are homes that are located in a bad area or high crime area or bad school districts. Let me explain. This house behind me just came on the market. It's about a mile from where the historic homes were or the homes over 100 years were. And the neighborhood is kind of okay. It's not a great neighborhood. In fact, this house behind me is right next to a commercial zoning. To give you an idea, the house that came on the market behind me is a 4 bedrooms, 3 bath house. Some of the rooms are not permitted. It just came on the market for $850,000 and it was built in 1944. The mile away, the home that I showed earlier, they were built about in 80, 90, 100 years ago. So this neighborhood is not very different, but according to the city map of Anaheim, it's in one of those areas where there's a higher crime in the city of Anaheim compared to other areas. In general, Anaheim is a very safe city, but this is one of the areas where the crime rate is a little bit higher than compared to other areas. The inside of this house is about 1,500 square feet. And as you can see, there's a lot of traffic here. This house is right next to a commercial area. There's a lot of traffic in the neighborhood, even at night. So I'd be cautious if I was buying a house. The other thing about these neighborhoods is that the schools are not that great compared to other schools. So even though you may not have kids and you don't care about the schools, let's say you want to sell it 5 years later or 20 years later, and if the school rankings are down, that may affect the sale of your home because the buyers could have younger kids. So having great schools, having great neighborhood is very important. I show a lot of homes to younger kids, and the first question they ask is, how are the schools and how are the neighborhoods? So those are two key important things that you have to keep in mind. I personally would not buy a house or even show a house in this neighborhood, but that's my personal preference. So if you are looking for a house and the neighbor is okay and you are not too sure, what I would do with your agent is check the crime stats. Go to the city website. There are crime stats, there are local crime reports. Look at the school districts and visit the neighborhood at night. Visit it in the morning, visit daytime. Do you feel comfortable parking outside? Do you feel comfortable walking out with your dogs? If not, then it's not worth coming in this neighborhood. The fifth type of property I personally would not buy or may not buy are what we call the flipped properties. These are properties that investors buy at auctions or foreclosures or divorce situations, buy them at a low price, fix it up real fast, and then sell it for a profit. This house is such a property. It's a flip property. It's listed for 1.25 and it just came on the market actually a couple of days ago. Now, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against flip properties. These are owned by LLC or S corporation or private investors. These homes have latest in trends, latest in updates, and the good thing is if you buy these kind of homes, you move right in and start living without doing anything. But because these home is totally redone, you usually pay a premium price. If two homes are for sale right next to each other, one has your normal upgrades, has not been worked on, and the right next to it, same floor plan, same square footage, a flipped home comes on the market, you're going to pay a premium for it because everything is new in there, supposedly new and trendy. Now, as I said, I'm not throwing shades at these LLC or S Corps or private investors, but there are shady ones out there or ones that don't really care. They're only out there for profit. I have sold to many investors myself. If I ask a question, what is the number one goal of these investors or LLCs? Well, there's three things. Number one, buy low. Number two, fix fast. And number three, sell high. That's it. They're in it for the profit. So you have to be forewarned when you buy a fixed property. Of course, not all of them may have issues, but some may have issues. There might be some possible defects behind the walls because they're trying to do a sloppy job. And when you buy this home, you can see what's behind, what kind of plumbing was done, what kind of wiring was done, or is it up to date? Are they up to fire code? Most of these have a great cosmetic jobs and then they're flipped because they are doing it in a very fast way and they want to make maximum profits. So be forewarned when you buy flip properties. What I recommend highly, whether if I'm buying it myself or if I'm have a client buying these flipped homes, the first thing I do is I still do a professional home inspection. I myself look at all the details. I'll have my buyers look at all the details and make sure they're comfortable with the quality. And of course, I will also get a home warranty or recommend the buyers to get a home warranty. So flipped properties are great, but they're not the best all the time. It depends what price you pay and what kind of job it was done by the professionals, the investors that did the work. Imagine you move into a house with an over the top feature like the aquarium that's built in and it's huge. And after 2 years, you're tired of it because it needs cleaning and you want to change it. It's going to cost you a lot of money to remodel it if you had to remodel it, or if you want to take it out and redo it. That's a lot of expense. So when you buy such homes with over the top rated features, please keep in mind, are you going to be okay with it after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? And if you want to take it out, how much is it going to cost you? Or if you resell this house, will the other buyers like it or not? Just a few days ago, I showed a house in Anaheim Hills. It's in a gated community listed for $2.7 million. Very nice house. But when I went in the backyard with my clients, they loved the backyard. They were taken aback when they saw all the hardscapes and in the swimming pool area. There was a Hawaiian style cabana there. There was swimming pool over there. There was a slides over there and lots of hardscape. That must have cost them at least $400,000 when they made that. And that actually stopped him from putting an offer on that house because he thought it was too much of a maintenance for him to keep up with. All he wanted was a pool. He did not want all the other extra stuff. He would love it, but he knows how much it'll take to maintain it. Or if he wants to change anything, it'll be a big, big burden for him to do it down the road. You might have seen other homes that have private man caves and privacy where they can do sports or darts or pool table or just have beer and watch TV. Those are no-nos in the long term. The reason I prefer not to buy these homes or don't recommend buyers to buy these types of home with extravagant top of the line features and upgrades is because number one, as soon as you move in, that value depreciates. What I mean is, as time goes by, if somebody had spent $400,000 into this feature, let's say the pool and the spa and the waterfalls, immediately the value depreciates because all these are depreciating items. So if you sell it 5 years down the road and you're paying extra for these features, you may get less for it. The second reason these are not very good is because specialty items like these need specialty remodeling or specialty fixing. If something goes wrong, you're going to have to call a specialist. It's not just anybody can do these type of fixes. And the most important thing is, if you do decide to sell, somebody may come in and love that house, love everything about that house, love the price, but they may say, look, I love the house, but I'm not into fish, or I'm not into a man cave, or I don't like all these grand pool features and hardscape features. You can't reduce the price and you may lose good buyers. So resale values may be affected, especially if it's 10, 15 years down the road and the equipment and the features and everything has deteriorated if you did not keep up with it. And if you kept up with it, it probably cost you an arm and a leg. Especially these days, as you know, labor cost is going up, material cost is going up. So any renovation that you do is going to cost you quite a bit just to keep up with it. It's now time to give you the bonus tip. What kind of house I will never buy, or I will ask, or I will never tell my buyers to buy. And what kind of house is that? Well, I will never ever buy this type of house and recommend that you buy this house as well. It is the one house that you fall in love with. It is in the area that you want in. It is the type of location that you're looking for. It is near your mom or your kids, and it's the perfect house. But you don't want to buy that house if it is over your budget. A lot of buyers make the mistake, a costly mistake of buying over their budget because they fall in love with the house and it's over their budget. That's a complete no-no. As you know today, there are rising costs. Your principal and interest are usually fixed, but your taxes are increasing at a skyrocketing pace. Your property taxes are increasing at a skyrocketing pace. Your cost of labor, should you fix something when you buy the house, your cost of materials, the cost of keeping up your house, the cost of HOA fees, if you're in there, are rising and rising. So you may feel comfortable buying the house right now, but after 2, 3, 4 years, you may be in a panic situation. So if there's one thing you got out of this video, please buy within your means or even below your means, but never above your means. And that's not an advice, that's just an opinion, and I hope you got that. So if you are looking for a house, whether it's now or later, be cautious, do your homework, select the right agent, and buy the house that you want. Don't make these mistakes. Avoid older homes. Avoid flood prone properties, homes with oil tanks, rushed and flipped homes, and over customized homes. These will cost you in the long run, even though you may enjoy the benefits in the beginning. The other thing that you must do is, before you buy a house, make sure that you see all the disclosures that are required. In California, required disclosures from the seller, statewide buyer's agency, the SPQ, which is the seller's property questionnaire, the NHD, which is the National Hazards Disclosures, the floods, the fire, the earthquake, all these disclosures, please verify them before you sign that contract because it could make or break your living in a peaceful way. So hope you got that. And on that note, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm Mike Patel, and please watch this video. That'll help you.